Happy midday to you. This is definitely not midday in any time zone close to me. So this is a redo of one we had earlier. We actually had a situation, someone on here kind of putting some crazy, horrible, wicked, evil things. And I do believe that person is now blocked. I thought I had them blocked, but apparently I did not do a good job on that. If this does come up again, we're going to have to shut it down quickly. Hopefully not necessarily the stream, but see about better moderation perhaps on here somehow. So I guess I need to learn more about TikTok Live. Anyways, on to what we were previously discussing. Our prayers do go out to the family of Ted Turner. Ted Turner has passed away at 87 years of age. And so prayers to the family in this time of loss. Now, there's a thing right now. There is a thing right now where when somebody on the other side from you politically, and Ted Turner would have not been of the same political persuasion as myself. Now, it's my understanding he was not necessarily what you would call like woke, at least not as much as some, so may have been considered on the left. I don't know if he would have been considered as far left these days as far as how radical some things have gotten. But was definitely more liberal. And we have this thing, and I almost didn't want to look, but for information's sake, I did. And sure enough, and I know X, I found quite a bit of it. I have no doubt it's probably on Facebook too, because I've noticed this sort of thing on other forms of anti-social media, where there were people basically just saying all kinds of horrible things at his passing. Somebody has died, and people are essentially using this as an opportunity to speak against the person and, to essentially rejoice in his passing in various ways. In Job 31, which, yes, we got to be careful how we use the book of Job, because not everything in it is what we would call prescriptive. Job definitely, based upon other definite principles in scriptures, we know that Job is out of line in some things he says. But in talking about, if I have done this sin and if I have done this sin, this long list of things he gives that basically, in his mind then it would perhaps be justifiable for him to be suffering like he is. He says in Job 31, beginning verse 29, if I have rejoiced at the destruction of him who hated me, or lifted myself up when evil found him, indeed, I have not allowed my mouth to sin by asking for a curse on his soul. And the Hebrew word for soul there is the Hebrew word nefesh, which is a bigger concept than just the spirit. It's like the person's life. It's like who you are. But we see here that this type of thing, to rejoice at someone's destruction, he's presenting this as a sinful thing. And this is very much in keeping with the principle that we discussed recently with Proverbs 24, verse 17. Jesus is teaching in Matthew 5:44, love your enemies. The principle there in Romans 12:17, to not repay evil with evil. And there is this thing, and it's being seen, like we've been seeing some of the outlandish things being said by people on the left, when there have been attempts on the president's life, and people like saying, why did they miss, and all that. There's just horrible, horrific things. Somebody tried to, when somebody's trying to do harm to the president, that's somebody's husband, that's somebody's father, that's somebody's grandfather. He's a soul. I don't always agree with him on everything, but I would never wish harm on him, that's for sure. And I agree with him on many things that he does, by the way. Not everything, but many things. But this thing that people are doing, where they seem to think, well, this person, they were like this, so I can just say whatever I want to, and I can be happy when something happens to them. And we see people on the right with this kind of attitude. This is not in keeping with the Christ. You claim to follow Jesus, you need to abide in his word, and you need to have his heart. His heart had him suffering on a cross, saying, Father, forgive them. Like that's the heart of Christ. The heart of Christ is that he's dying for us when we're still enemies of God. Like that's the heart of Christ. So this thing where people are essentially sinning, and I'm calling out a lot of conservatives right now on this, are sinning at people's death and suffering. It's got to stop. It's got to stop. You claim to be the good guys, be the good guys, and follow the Christ even in this. Looks like the problem we were dealing with earlier is not a problem anymore. I think that person was successfully blocked. Prayers for that person too. That was a sad situation. You have a good rest of the day. Wednesday words will be posted, Lord willing, pretty soon. And shalom.